Hello everyone, this is Plankera, and welcome to my universe. So, we're almost there. I think the big thing that I want to do today is the belts on her coat, and then I want to decide if I want to do a little bit more with their feet. Because, I don't know. Considering literally everything else is moving, I just thought that they looked a little bit strange. So, I might just do a tiny wiggle on them. But yeah, those are the big things, and then it's just a matter of getting every little piece making me happy, because right now this belt, I think it feels a little bit stiff. There's just something slightly off about it, and then when I look at the hair, let me move her head again. Yeah, I was just looking at the hair in my model viewer over here, and I don't know. It's looking almost a little bit jelly-like. That's about the best way I can describe it. It reminds me of jelly as opposed to nice, soft, swishy hair, so I might revisit that a little bit too. But for now, I suppose I will just finish off the parts that I haven't done yet. I'll just get everything ready, and I'll go from there. So, I do not have all of my various physics categories collapsed, because holy cow, I have a ton of physics here. Oh, did I not put you in the coat category? I did not. Well, it's there now. Alright, so I think I'm gonna do the physics on each belt separately. I probably could get away with doing them together, but whatever. This'll give me more control in how they swing around. So I will call you belt right physics. So that'll be this one, because it's on her right. And that's how we talk about things. Okay. So now I'm going to take a moment to just kind of think about how I want to tackle this. I had this all separated very nicely so that I could do all kinds of twisty things if I want to, but I don't think I want to. I think I'm going to keep it pretty simple. But I do want to do a little bit of wiggle up here. And then I'll probably do a second parameter to make it wiggle a little bit more at the bottom. You know, as I've been doing for a lot of these things that are long and swingy. I'm not going to put quite as much into this as I did the sleeves, though. The sleeves are special. Sleeves are very special. Alright, so I think I'm going to start with the loop. So what are you? So this, I want to make it look like it's very firmly attached on the top and bottom there, so I'm only going to swing the very center. Let's see. So we'll send this guy this way. There we go. I think that should be plenty. Just want to straighten it out just a touch, because it got a little bit crunchy there in a few spots. There were some jagged edges that I just kind of want to clean up a little. There we go. That looks nicer. And then this guy. So I think this guy is supposed to be like attached to a thing here. This kind of looked like a belt loop to me. Some of these things I wasn't quite sure how to interpret, but that's what it looked like to me, so I will go with that. And then I want to swing off the backside just a touch here. We're not going to send it too far. I just think something like this will add a little bit of extra wiggle to it. Make it look like it's having a good time. And these, I think I'll just move all together with a path to form. Okay, I have another... Do I? Okay, no, that's all of them. Okay, for some reason I thought there was another layer there that I should be aware of. But nah, I think we're good. So I will just move this entire thing. I'm going to have it anchored nice and firmly right there. And I'll just send a nice little path all the way through it. I think this will be easier than using the brush this time because it's super long. And I want it to fling. We're gonna let it be free and have a wonderful time. Something like this. Let's give it a little fling there, yeah. Just let it go whoosh. Alright, so something like that should be okay. Not really gonna move this top part too much. I think this is fine. Yeah, that looks like it's having a good time. Alright, let's do the other side. Actually, I guess before I get ahead of myself and start doing the other side, I should see what it actually looks like while it's moving. Yep. Looks fine to me. Okay. Now that my due diligence has been done, let us continue messing around. Alright, so now I want to send the belt loop this way. Still making sure that it looks like it's firmly in place on the top and bottom there. And so this part's not going to move nearly as much because I want it to look like it's kind of running into the coat. So we'll let it squish all the way up against the coat. And then I'll just move some of the texture a little bit. That should give it plenty of liveliness, I guess. Grammar. But it's okay. Since when do people pay that much attention to English grammar? You can kind of do what you want with English grammar. Okie dokie. Yep, I think that's fine. So now, once again, I will just use the path. I'll just path it through here. And I will just let it swing to the right. I'll keep the swinging a little bit more reserved on this side since I kind of want to make it look like it's running into her coat a little bit, but, you know, I still want to let it have some fun, so we'll just let it go. Just a little here. Just a little. Yeah, there we go. This kind of gives the impression it's bumping up against the coat and then just kind of swinging a little bit more freely at the bottom. Huh. Kind of a weird shape though, isn't it? I might straighten it out a bit. Let me see how this actually looks in motion. Yeah, the center here is kind of panicking. So probably don't want it to do that. There we go. Let's just straighten that out. Actually, I can't do that. I mean, I can, but I need to do it on the shadow too. There we go. They need to move together, and it'll be easier to do them both together instead of moving them separately. Okay, there we go. That should look a little bit better. I think I might have it a bit too thick, though. Let me take a close look at that. Yeah, I kind of feel like over here is growing a little bit long and also a little bit thick. So I will take a moment just to kind of clean that up. Get all of this the right length and width. Very important. I don't mind it being a little bit stretchy, but I don't want to overdo it either. Okay, that seems better. Yay! Okay. So now it's just up and down. I'm kind of glad I decided to do the belts separately, because now I can just... Well, I feel like I'm flying through the parameter pretty quickly today. So that always makes me a little bit happy. Get to look at all the shiny new things. This time I kind of want to tilt it downward just a little here. There we go. Yeah, just a slight little tilt. I think that's perfect. And then here on the belt itself, I will just straighten it out and make it a little bit longer. This time I don't mind if I stretch it out just a little bit. I don't want to stretch it out too much, but I do want it to be a little bit longer. So we'll get it pretty straight and just a touch longer. Yeah, I don't think this is that much longer. So that should be good. Just nice and straightened out. I think that should look pretty good for this. Yeah. And all seems well on the shadow front, so I will just go ahead and do the bottom. And the bottom, we'll send it upward and outward. Where's my loop? There it is. All right. So upward and outward. Yeah, something like that should be fine. You can see I'm not being too picky on the belt loop here. I think just about anything will look okay there. As long as it's in the right general direction. Make sure it's nice and connected over there still, but we'll swing this up. Yeah, I think that should be okay. And for this part, I will make it a little bit higher, a little bit more outward, and a little bit shorter. Just all the usual things that I do here. But you can follow this kind of pattern for most things, really. Just for left and right, you swish it. For up and down, you make it a parachute. And that covers the big movements and most everything. From there, it's just a matter of how detailed you want it to be. Because, like, I could have done way more with her skirt, for example, or the bottom of her coat, but, you know, it's fine. That's all below the waist, and not all that important here. I kind of want to focus on the big things. So now I'm just kind of checking the corners. I'm making sure that the belt there is okay. I think it's looking okay. Here is like the only questionable one because it goes like right up against the edge. And I do actually think I want to pull it out just a touch here. Because like I want to make sure that it has some thickness to it. If I pushed it all the way up against the coat, it would be like there's... It would make it look super thin. Because when you push something up against something else, it doesn't, like, meld together. It touches up based on how much thickness there is between these two parts. And given this belt looks kind of like a thick metal belt, or not metal, thick leather belt, I wanted to make sure that there was some space here. So that this way it looks like the edge here is pressing up against here. And is pushing the other edge a little further out just because it is a thick belt as opposed to a very thin one. So I'll check that individually here. And here I don't want it to get too far out because you can see I didn't draw a back portion of this when I probably should have. So I can't let it swing too far out. I gotta keep it up against the coat, otherwise it'll look a bit weird. Actually, I think I swung it out too far. On just my regular old bottom turn. There we go. Okay, but I think that's fine. So let me make sure the belt itself looks good. Gotta zoom out a bit in order to see it, because it's so long. Oh yeah, seems okay. Alright, let's get this on a pendulum. You are... no, I need to... You are not just a belt, you are a coat belt, and I do want to specify that, because I don't want to confuse the coat belts with her actual belt. This one is the one that gets to be called belt, because it is the most belty. The belts on her coat are not tied to anything, they just kind of exist on her coat. So let's see, coat, belt, right. Yeah, I think a short pendulum makes sense. Put you on there. No, that's not right. You're supposed to be here by default. Shoot. Okay, please go back in the middle. There we go. Why does it want it to be up there? Why is 0 up there? 0 should be here. How bizarre. Let me just remake this parameter. And this time I'll make sure that I have my physics all defaulted. Or my parameters on the default. So let's see here. Okay, I'll try that again. I am not sure what happened. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. You will be coat, belt, right. Still doing it. Why does it want to go up there? Oh, whatever. Maybe it'll be okay. I will try it. Oh, right. It's because I have it on angle instead of XY, of course. So yeah, you guys can see the options here. So I had it on angle length instead of XY, and it was panicking, and I forgot that it panics before I set it to the correct one. Angle length does something else. I am not super familiar with what it does, but it's something else. I think I will up the resonant frequency and reduce the damping just a little bit, so this way it's extra swingy. Not 6. There we go. And then I'll just make it move. Let's go. So don't worry, what I ran into there, not a bug, just me being silly. These things happen. Alright, let's see how it looks. That is perhaps a little bit too swingy. Oh yeah, look at it go. I'm gonna move it a little bit less. And I might also reduce the resonant frequency just a little bit too. It's just swinging around a little bit too hard. A little. Let's try 1.3. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Like, the movement still looks a little bit stiff right now, but I think that is okay. Yeah, I think that is fine. Just because I figured that it would need a second parameter in order to make the bottom part swing nicely. So I'm mostly focusing on the top there, and I think the top part is perfect. Don't mind her arm clipping a little bit, it's fine. Okay, yeah, I think this is fine. So I'll put you in the coat section, and then I will add a second parameter in order to make it swing nicely. So you'll be coat, belt. Do I want to do... Yeah, I think I'll do swing first. I was debating whether or not the right should come first or if the swing should come first, and I decided the swing should come first. The name doesn't matter that much, but I like to keep my naming somewhat consistent, just so that it's easier for me to follow. And I can, and my future self will be able to understand the intentions of my past self. So for this one, I'm not going to move the belt loops or anything at all. This is just making the belt part a little bit more swingy. I think it's actually even going to only move from about down here. Just go, make it go whoosh. Let's see, I think I made it a bit shorter, so I'm looking at the distance between the little ghost that it leaves, the distance between the points here, and they do look a little bit closer together, so I'm gonna try to spread them out just a little here. Try to keep that distance relatively consistent as it swings out over here. So I think that'll give it better odds of looking like it's swinging as opposed to just getting kind of compressed and weird. And I don't know what's going on at the top there. The top part shouldn't have moved. Actually looking at it, I do not think that the top piece of the belt has to move at all. So I'm just not going to select it. I'm going to move the middle, I'm going to move the bottom, and I'm going to move the shadow. Let's try that again and see if it cooperates with me. So I always thought that keeping a nice little anchor for where things should not move always did a pretty good job of not moving things in the past, but you know, if I don't have to move it at all, then why select it in the first place? Let's just try that again. So I might have an easier time with just never selecting the top part of the belt. It was selected kind of on autopilot. So I was like, yes, I need to move the belt, so let's move the whole belt. Even though it was unnecessary. just trying to make sure that the curve between here looks nice too. I want the curve to look very pleasant all the way through. I think that should be good though. That's quite a swing. It might be a bit too strong, but that's fine. I tend to like to make these swings a bit stronger than they should be, just because I find myself never going to like the full 100% in a physics parameter, and I think that's a good thing. It gives it a little bit of leeway, so this way if there's a particularly strong swing, it doesn't just go off of... it doesn't exceed the bounds of the parameter, I suppose. Or you can see that this is from 0 to 1. These are or from -1 to 0. These are arbitrary numbers, don't worry about it. But it basically means that if there was a really strong swing, it wouldn't suddenly try to go to like -2 and just exceed the bounds of the parameter and panic and get stuck and look terrible. Because it does look pretty bad when that happens. I'm not sure if I ever properly demonstrated it here or if it happened, because I've been pretty good at avoiding it, but... I think it's happened before. I just don't think I explicitly, like, talked about it. I just said, that's too strong. Because it probably was a bit too strong. Or at least, that's too strong is one of the ways I might describe it, because even if it is within the bounds of the parameter, sometimes it can be too strong if I just feel like it's swinging too far for the amount of movement she's doing. I said that like about her belt and some stuff about her lower coat and stuff. But sometimes it can be too strong just because the wiggle starts exceeding the bounds of the parameter and everything just freezes. Let me see if I can describe what happens if you do swing too hard and you get a value bigger than your parameter can handle. Basically what happens is it'll let the value that the parameter sees go beyond, you know, whatever you have here. So in this case, I'm going from 1 to 0. So 1 is my biggest number. And if the value that the physic was producing happened to be like 1.5, for example, it would still only go to 1. The value would keep climbing. But because this can't exceed 1, the parameter itself would show the deformation that's at the 1 keyframe. So, you know, just what I'm making here. At the strongest point. And it would just stay there until the number given, or the number calculated by the parameter, dipped down back below 1, in which case then it would start going back into these things here. So it would look like the physic just got stuck. It would stay at the 1 value for way too long, and it looks pretty bad. Because even though the number was bigger, it can't handle bigger numbers. So it just puts it at the largest value it can and just stays there until the value gets lower again. It looks very unnatural. I like talking about the numbers directly here because I actually think this is true for more art than people let on, but it is a wonderful union of math and art. And most people seem to think that these entities are enemies, and they are not. They work together in perfect harmony. Just remember that next time you're playing a video game and you're just utterly enthralled by how beautiful the environments are, that all of it is, if you're playing a 3D game at least, it's all matrix multiplication. Very, very complicated matrix multiplication in order to make all that look good. And then all the math that goes into ray tracing and some of the other stuff that makes the lighting look really good. So just remember, it's math. It's all math. You can totally put math in your art and it's fantastic. It's also where we get things like the golden ratio and stuff like that. That is also math. Never underestimate the power of numbers. All they really are is a objective way to look at the world. They are something that is basically designed to take the limitations of the human brain out of things. And you can just look at numbers and say, you know, that seems kind of weird, but I can respect it. You can come to a more accurate conclusion. Yay. Swing, 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 swing. Alright, I need to adjust the shadow up here just a little bit. But I really want to emphasize that math and art, science, art, all these things, the humanities and the STEM, not enemies. They are friends. They are friends forever. They can exist together in perfect harmony and it's wonderful. Just gotta believe. Alright, let's do up and down. Alright, so for down, I'm just gonna straighten things a little bit and kind of make them a little bit longer. As always. It's gonna be a little bit less straight up here because I'm only moving the bottom, but that should be fine. Man. Nose is itchy today. And then occasionally I just move the top part of the belt to line things up a little bit more nicely. Because here I just feel like it needs to come down a little bit more. There we go. In order to keep the proper feeling. Yep, seems fine. Let's do down. And this should be the last one for this belt. And then I'll just do the belt on the other side and decide if I want to do a little bit more with feet before I go in and just do corrections. Because I don't know, the more I stare at this belt, the more I hate it. So that's a sign that maybe it needs some adjustments. Kind of the same with the hair. I don't think the hair is awful. It just doesn't look quite right. That's just my opinion. I don't think it looks quite right. And if this was some unimportant thing, like at the bottom of her skirt or something, you know, maybe it'd be fine just to leave it like that. But this is something on the head, and the head is very important. So I don't want to mess around with that. Yeah, I definitely prefer it flipping this way. I was gonna see if I'd like to flip that windboard this direction, but nah. I like it better this direction. Because this does have a little bit more parachute energy to it, but for something hanging loose like this that's not very heavy, I think I just prefer it like this. So now I just attach the top, adjust the shadow just a little. So you got just a little bit thicker, and I don't want that. Yep, and now all is well, so let's go check out the corners. Make sure it swings nicely first. That's some swinging, alright. Seems okay, so let me make sure the corners are not panicking. That everything is still attached nicely. I don't mind if it gets a little bit stretched out. It's fine. Mostly I just wanted to make sure that the top part of this belt was connected to everything else, and right here it is not. So it just needs a little adjustment there. Yeah, and here it's not either. Is this actually okay? Now that I look at it, I have the top attaching to the wrong side of the belt. Does that look okay? I don't think I like it. Okay, I have changed my mind. You are now connecting on this side. This way, everything matches. Okay, I think that's alright. So that should, in theory, kind of fix the issue on this end. I just need to make sure it is attaching right, and that it is smooth. Not all crunchy. Actually, you weren't attaching right down here. There we go. And now that I'm zoomed in a little bit, I'm just realizing, I had some of these attaching the wrong way in my original turns. I should fix them. So I am. Okay, that should be good. And this should add a bit of nice wiggle to everything. Look at it go. I think I'm gonna have some fun with this belt too. I'm kind of looking forward to it. But first, we better attach the one I just did. Physics. You will be a coat, belt, swing, right. And indeed, I wanted to swing around just a bit more than what I would consider the default, so I will raise the resonant frequency, lower the damping a little bit. This way, it swings. And now we move it around. So I had, what, 70 in the original, so we'll do 70 on this little swingy extension too. Ew, that's actually a bit stronger than I was expecting. I want it to swing, but that is definitely a bit strong. I think I'm just gonna put this back at 1. I like the way it swings back and forth. That's basically what the damping does. The damping, the higher the number, the more it just... it'll be easier to explain if I open up the pendulum. So you can see that you got this little guy here. And you can see that it's swinging back and forth a bit. The higher damping makes it so it doesn't swing back and forth quite as much. Lower damping means that it swings back and forth a little bit more. Do I have one that doesn't swing back and forth very much? Or I just wanted a little bit of wiggle? I think the skirt was kind of like that. Was there anywhere that I raised the damping on? Not really. I typically just moved them less, but yeah, that's basically the idea, where if you want to swing back and forth a lot, damping down. If you want to swing back and forth very, very little, so like it only moves when she's doing her initial movement, then you want it high. Yeah, and even here, I left it. Okay. That's fine. But that is the basic idea. Regardless, this still feels quite strong. I do think up here is perfect, so that tells me that maybe I should just move the swing around a little bit less. I will try 40 as my next arbitrary number. Because all of these numbers are basically pulled out pulled out of my rear. I just kind of pick one and try it. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit better. It still swings around pretty well. Okay, yeah, I think that's good. It still has kind of a little bit of leathery stiffness to it, so I like it. I think this is fine for my purposes. There are more things I could do with it, but I think this is fine. I don't think I need to do anything super special with everything below her waist. And I mean, this is like at her knees. So, let's go ahead and put this in the coat physics, and now I will do the other one. This will be coat, built, left physics. So now it is time to get this one. I'm gonna go ahead and collapse the sleeves. There are a ton of layers. I'll do the collars too. There are a ton of layers that I don't need to worry about right now, so scrolling past them was getting a little bit annoying. I never realized that it actually... Yeah, I guess it just goes into her coat. I've seen coats like that. That makes sense. I was just a little bit surprised because my mental image of her coat had it going all the way like around her back. But if it was drawn like that, I will trust it. And if that was a mistake, then it was a mistake I made at the beginning in the cutting phase, and I can't really fix it right now anyway, so I gotta roll with it. Okay, that seems fine. Let's see, how do I have this structured? Okay, so we have this guy here. I just kind of want to push him over a little. And I think that's fine. I think that's all I really gotta do up here. Let me just attach the belt back to it. Yep, that is sufficient wiggle for up there, so now we just gotta do the fun part, where the belt gets wiggled. I have to think about how I want to handle this, because on the other side, there was nothing metallic, so I didn't have to worry about swinging things too hard. Okay, but it looks like I didn't put any of the metallic pieces on separate layers. So, in that case, I will just... I see, so I did separate that. Fascinating. I'm gonna move this at the end, but the rest, I think I will just move all together. That'll be these two pieces. Is there anything else? There's you. There's you. Okay. Yeah, these are the only pieces that swing. I was worried about the belt buckle getting a little bit distorted, but I think I will allow it. We'll see if I change my mind after I move it. Just move you on over to the left. I kind of want to make it look like it's getting caught on the coat a little bit, so it will not move quite as freely as it will on the right side, but nonetheless, there will be some swinging. It's gonna flap around. Okay, now the distance between these points I want to keep pretty similar, and I think that's about right. So here, 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 here. Okay, so hopefully it won't look too stretched out. And then this guy just kind of needs to come over. He didn't have a proper mesh, so I didn't want to move it at the same time as everything else. I just wanted to do it at the end when I kind of knew where it had to go and what shape it had to be. Otherwise, I was afraid that with the path to form, it would just freak out. Okay, there we go. That should be okay. Let's see how the belt itself looks. Or the belt buckle. That's the part I'm most worried about. Seems good. I want to adjust the top a little bit here, but everything else I think was okay. Let me see how this is structured. We got you. And we got you. How are you attached on the default? You know, that actually looks alright, but I think I'd prefer this kind of thing when it's going the other direction. Where basically the highlight that's on the top here, it looks like we're seeing this side of the belt. You know, the side closer to the belt loop. Whereas the way I have it here, it kind of almost looks like we're seeing a little bit of the side that's on the opposite side. The one closer to her body. And I think that, in theory, that could be okay. But I don't think it's what I want for this turn specifically, so I'm gonna go ahead and reattach it normally. There we go. So in theory, I think that could have been fine, but I think it'd be more appropriate for the other direction. Okie dokie. So let's go ahead and do the right side now. Once again, I will start with the loop. And this upper part. Just enough to give it a little wiggle. And if it's attached there, I don't want to really move it that far. I just want the tiniest wiggle. I'll go ahead and attach it now, even though I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to do it again later, but it's fine. It makes me feel good about myself. Alright, let's let this flop about freely. This time, it's not running into any kind of resistance. It's not running up against our code or anything. It can just do what it wants. And all will be well. Don't really want to put anything directly inside of the belt buckle there. Just let me adjust the various points on this path to form here to make sure it is properly following the shape of the belt here. Oh yeah, look at that swing. Ah, it already makes me happy. Just look at it go. This time it's getting caught a little bit up here, but I think that is appropriate. It is attached to this belt loop after all. And it just looks like it's having a grand old time. Just swinging on out there. Okay, and then I will attach this little guy here. It's gonna do something like this, I guess. It's good practice to separate that, but I think it was unnecessary in my case. Let's see if the belt buckle looks distorted in that movement there, because I do think I'm making it larger. Oh yeah, it is getting a lot larger, and that actually does look pretty bad. Yeah, I can't do that. Cannot. So let's go ahead and get it back down into size. I have pretty decent control over how it moves, so should be able to if I just try hard enough. Kind of interesting that it gets smaller and then larger. Whatever you say, interpolation, I think that's okay. I'll see how it looks on the pendulum. Here, I've got sneeze. Moment. It's been raining the past couple of days, so I think the plants are letting us know, hey, it's time for us to be awake and cause all kinds of problems. Ah, silly plants. I guess they're just happy to be alive, finally. Alright, I just want to attach these here. And remember how I said, now it looks like we're seeing kind of the backside of this? If this looks okay in motion, I think I love the idea. Looks a little strange, but I actually think it's okay if I touch it up a little bit better. I think it'll be fine as long as all of the pieces are moving a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Let me take a look at that buckle one more time. Because if I do have to fix that, then that means I have to add like another keyframe right there, and that's a pain. So I'm gonna see if I can just leave it like that and have it all be fine. Alright, let's do up and down. And that, my friends, is what we call pure laziness, but there is a time and a place for laziness. Because sometimes not being lazy can just look remarkably similar to unchecked perfectionism. I'll just lower that a little bit. Okay. And now I just swing this around again. Just do my usual things where I straighten it out, make it a bit longer. And that's about it. Just gonna make it look all stretched out. A little bit less than the bottom than I normally would, just because I don't really want the metal parts of the buckle to look super stretched out. But everything else can look a little bit stretched. Just in the process of getting all this to look like it's going straight down. Looks like this time it won't because it's going to get slightly caught on her coat, but I think that looks fine too. Okay, how much longer did I make the belt buckle here? No, I think this is okay. Alright, let me go finish it off then. This time I do not think I want it to look like the backside is showing, so I'm going to attach this properly. And then I just get this little guy. Where'd he go? Here it is. Just bring him on over and stick him in place. There we go. Seems fine. Alright, let's do down. We'll just send things up and out and let them fly. And I gotta say, spring is probably my least favorite season. I'm not even super prone to allergies, but occasionally I do get that little, I don't know, allergy debuff, where I just feel a little bit off and I can't place why. And I'm pretty sure it's just the plants. And I do think that there is a rogue plant in the yard that I am more allergic to than others. Because my allergies have been a little bit worse the past couple of years. Someday I will go out and identify that rogue plant. And I will uproot it with impunity. Okay, the belt is maybe a touch smaller, but I think that's fine. I'll see how it looks while I'm moving it around. How do you look when I actually move you around? I don't know, I think it's fine. Just gonna go check on all the other pieces here, because I can see that I need to move this upper part. You just kind of stick it out where he doesn't belong, so go ahead and pull it all back here. There we go, no problem. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just check the corners, make sure that this top area looks fine. Little crunchy on the belt loop right here. Let's go ahead and tame that just a little. Okay, I think this is fine. It looks a little bit silly on its own, but I think once it's in motion, it'll be okay. Let me see. I did not properly tuck this top part away. It's honestly a little bit hard to see against our coat, so I can forgive myself for not noticing it immediately. Ah, the joy of working with black on black. Easy to miss tiny little details like that. Yeah, I can see that I didn't do it on the left one either. There we go. Is everything all tucked away properly now? It looks like it. Okay, indeed, it looked like that helped all the problems with the corners. Okay, let me just make sure that, like, the belt buckle in the back and all that stuff looks fine. Yeah, and indeed, there are a couple of problems on these guys. I don't like how thick it's getting here. I do not. Yeah, I think the backside was a little bit off on all of them. Yeah, I think that looks better. And let's see, does it look a little bit stretched out in that corner? Yeah, that's a little bit stretched out. So I should fix the belt buckle here. Just make that a little bit less stretched out. I don't mind it kind of vanishing behind the belt loop there. I think that actually makes sense at this angle. So I just need to actually put it in the right spot. It needs to be a little bit further down. There we go. Now it looks like it's running through it. I think that looks fine. I just felt like the entire belt there was a little bit thick, so I wanted to fix that up too. The corners on this one were not as kind to me as they were on the other side. I think it's just because it didn't really matter if things got a little bit thicker or thinner on the other side. It was purely belt, just strings, basically. And if strings get a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, nobody's really going to notice. But if something metal like this gets a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, it's gonna look weird. So I'm trying to keep it at least relatively consistent. I don't mind if it gets a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. But it should look at least pretty close to the same. It just doesn't need to be exact is all. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Okay, I think I will attach this to the pendulum and see how it looks. So you are coat, belt, left, physics. And I will give you the same treatment I gave the other one, in which I gave it a little bit more resonant frequency. I think I actually gave it 1.2 and a little bit less damping. Because you are a swingy little string. Alright, let's move this around. I think I had it on 70 on the other side, so I will use the same numbers. If they worked there, they probably work here too. And if they don't, I will just pick an arbitrary one. Whatever arbitrary number I feel like. Yeah, I think that looks good. Look at it swing. I love physics. They're just so much fun. I mean, I remember what the coat looked like this morning, and I thought it was pretty good, but man, now with just that little bit of extra physics on the belts here, I really like it. And honestly, I don't think this one needs a second one. I don't. I actually think it makes sense for it to look a little bit heavier because it has the big belt on the end, or the belt buckle on the end weighing it down. So I actually think that looks the way I want it to look. I don't think it needs an extra. Yes, I am quite pleased with that. I really like it. Okay, I think I'm just gonna leave it. We'll see how I feel about it tomorrow. And if I change my mind, I will, you know, do it then. But for now, I will just drop that into coat, and I do think I will add just a slight wiggle to her feet. So I will call you Shoe Wiggle. What did I call the other shoe physic? Shoe Triangle, Shoe Flippy. Okay, perfect. So I can safely call you Shoe Wiggle, and it will not be confusing. Okay. So all the way back to the bottom. And all I want to do here, let me reset all my physics, and here we are. So you see all those highlights there? All I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to avoid changing the shape of the shoe at all. I just want to move them around a little bit. Just a little. This will be like the weakest physic ever. Just that. Yes, just that. That's all. Yep, I think that'll make it look just a little bit better. And it's gonna take me like probably 5 minutes tops to do, so I will go ahead and just add the slightest little bit of wiggle here. This is just another case of I think it looks a little bit weird when there are some parts that are a wiggling and there are some parts that are not. So let's see, up. I actually think I want to go upward, which is actually unusual when I am doing some upward physics. But I think it makes sense in this case. Okay. Doot, 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 doot. Yep, I think that's all I want to do there. And then I'll just bring it down a little. Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted to do. Yep, that's some wiggling. So let's go ahead and attach it to a pendulum. And you will be shoe wiggle. Perfect. Oh, no, only one W in wiggle. Okay, I think default values are fine because this one will not be doing too much wiggling. Go ahead and move you on over. I think I'll do 90. I do want it to get pretty close to the edge. Not all the way to the edge, but pretty close. Because this was a very weak wiggle. Okay. Let me see, I might actually need to add more damping to that because I don't want it to be wiggly. Yeah, it's a little bit wiggly. Basically, the purpose of this isn't to move back and forth a lot, so this will be an excellent example of what raising the damping will do. I'm raising it real high because I really only want it to move once and then go back into place. Yeah, kind of like that. Just enough to add a bit of wiggle here. I actually think even that's a little bit too strong, so I think I'm going to move it a bit less. Maybe down to like 60. This was just intended to kind of match the rest of the wiggle on the foot there with the way the flippy parts wiggle. I just thought it looked strange that they wiggled and the rest of the shoes did absolutely nothing. Yeah, there we go. That's about what I wanted. Just enough. Just enough to give it a little bit of personality. Okay. So yeah, now I'm just gonna go back over things. Because that's everything I wanted to put physics on. That's everything. It's all done. Yay! So, now it's just a matter of making everything look really good. And I think I want to do that before I put physics on the body Z, where she does her little wiggle here. We'll make that all wiggly in just a second. Once I am satisfied with the physics themselves, putting it over here is going to be a piece of cake. So let's take a look at this guy. What about you do I hate so much? It's just the top part. This top part. It's not working for me. Like, does it look like it's getting caught on the belt like it's supposed to? Alright, well, that part's gonna be a little bit harder to fix. than the very bottom. So let's see. That would be you. Okay. Now, I do think I want the resonant frequency to be a little bit higher than that, but lowering it did help the problem I was seeing, so 1.5 was probably just too much. This is just where I mess with numbers and see what I can figure out. And it may be that I just need an extra one here in order to get these two parts of belt to work together. Or maybe I just need to extend the extra bit of flippiness on the bottom there. No, that actually does look a lot better. Okay, let's see here on the... Ah, no, I do have just belt and then I have a little bit of an extra on the flippy. Excellent. Let me remind myself how my belt physics actually work. Okay, so we have this, which just does the top. Okay, perfect. Oh, good. So that means I did think ahead. So, and then I have 2 on just the flippy part of the belt. Oh, that is great. That means that I can adjust the top part of the belt without adjusting, you know, where it's all like a tangled knot. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better because now I can just swish this harder. What you got going on here? What you got here? Okay, this tells me that with resonant frequency, the lower the number, it actually makes it swish more. So I probably had it backwards in my head. Good to know. In that case, I actually kind of want to revisit what I did with the belts on the coat and lower their numbers a little bit. I'm wondering if it'll make them look a little bit less stiff, or if I wanted this to be 0.8 instead of 1.2, for example. I'll just move it in the other direction. Kinda, but I actually kind of liked what I had before better, so I will leave those alone. Okay, that's not in the history, so I just kind of have to go back and fix it. That is fine. Someday I will actually look up the formula for how pendulums work and learn the numbers properly, but I haven't done that yet, so at this point it's just kinda, I guess, and if it's right, then it's right, and if it's wrong, then I try a different number. It's working for me. That's probably something I'll do after I figure out a little bit more about tracking. Oh yeah, this belt all just looks so much better now. I think I can be happy with that. I actually think that these guys might be bouncing around a little bit too much. I'm gonna lower their numbers. You were 70. Let's try 50. And if this doesn't work, then I will try just messing with the output scale. That might actually be easier because, man, this is a lot of numbers I have to adjust here. So I have to adjust all of the keyframes for every single piece that I want to adjust. And man. Okay. Okay, but that's better. Yeah, I think that actually does look a lot better. Look at him go. Okay, now I'm just gonna look through every part of her. So far I think her arms and fingers and stuff are all looking pretty good. I like the flower on her necklace. I still really like the lapels on her coat, even though maybe it doesn't make 100% sense given the material. I was thinking about fixing her sleeves just a little because, man, it looks really good, but it makes it look a little bit too cloth-like in my opinion. If that was cloth, that would be like perfect. But no, I think I like it too much to get rid of it, so I think it'll be fine. That part will just be a little bit more floppy. Nope, I talked myself out of it. I'm gonna go take another look. So, sleeve extra floppy, that's you, right? Let me remind myself how I rigged this. So, sleeve... Where's, like... I thought I put all my sleeve pieces together. Sleeve swing, sleeve belt, sleeve twist, sleeve floppy, sleeve extra floppy. Okay. Okay, so this one, if I make it just a little bit weaker, it might be okay. If I move the output scale to maybe 80% instead of 100%, I'm gonna do that instead of adjusting everything here. Yeah, I think that helped. And then there's gonna be floppy. So what is sleeve floppy? Sleeve twist. Sleeve floppy. What do you do, my floppy friend? You are quite floppy. My goodness. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll just do the same thing. 80%. Okay, yeah, I still think that looks pretty fun, and it looks a little bit more leathery. But still kind of keeps that floppy feeling that comes from the way all of this is, like, split down the middle. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. I think I like that. Oh man, she is so bouncy. I love this. I just love looking at it. Alright. I think before I go back and do the hair, I'm gonna go ahead and put all this on body Z. So let's see, how do I want to do this? Is this all perfect? A perfect mirror? I don't know. That's probably something I should know. Arm node 13. They are not perfect mirrors. Okay. So that means I'll have to do each side separately. That's okay. Let's see. Kind of wish I could just copy them all because, man, I put a lot of physics on this. Okay. Well, I think I just gotta move things. Can I see what the values are? No, I really can't. It doesn't show me what my transforms are here. Okay. Let me see. Am I using the same value for everything over here? No. I do change around quite a lot. Okay, I'll just check the value here, and then I'll go do it on my body Z over here. This one was 120. Do I want to move it on Y at all? I'll try this with all of them, and then I'll see if I have to do the Y-axis at all. And I just happen to remember a couple of these, so the next couple were 100. And I'll just do this all the way down. And I believe the next one was 100. After that, I'm not quite sure. So I will start checking. Maybe I can remember numbers in batches of 3. 100, 120, and 50. So 100. Get them on both sides there. 120. I'm not sure if I actually want to be using the same numbers, but I will start there and see if I like it. And then I will adjust as needed, and if I'm finding myself needing to adjust a lot of numbers, I will just, I don't know, eyeball it, I guess. 80 and 80, instead of trying to bring the numbers over perfectly like this. So we have 80 and 80. So this is going to be for her shirt, it looks like, and her arms. A little bit of skirt stuff. So I'm going to take off her coat and see how this looks here. Yeah, this seems fine to me. Okay, let's put her coat back on, and I'll go ahead and get started adjusting these ones. So far, these numbers seem to be working. 75 and 100. Okay. So we will do you a 75. And you a 100. And like I said, I will decide if I want to do any Y movement on here after I have all of the X movement done. If it looks lively, bouncy, and as lovely as it does on my XY, then you know what? Maybe I will. Then, well, or rather, if it looks good, I'm not going to bother. If I think it needs a little bit more to it, I will cross that bridge when I get there. So we have 50, 40, 50. So we have 50. Just because it is going to take me a little while to get all these numbers in. 40. And I don't want to do any more work than I have to. And 50. Because this perhaps a little bit on the tedious side. Alright, next. We have 110, 110, and 100. We have 110. And I am terrified of forgetting what number I need to put where, but I think as long as I do it in batches of 3, I will be okay. And 100. Okay. Next. We have 80, 120, and 80. Okay. So we have 80. And we have 120. And we have 80. We have 60, 80, and 80. So we have 60. We have 80. And 80. Oh man, this one is even divisible by 3. Pure coincidence. I just didn't want to remember too many numbers at once. 3 seemed like a good limit. Okay, now we have 75, 100, and 100. Alright, so 75. $100. Come on. There we go. And 100. Okay, and that's all the coat stuff. So now I just gotta look for the other physics node. Okay, so now we have skirt belt. Let's go. What are you? 80, 60, 70. Alright, so we have 80. $60. Unfortunately, it is not the end of the world if I get one of these wrong. As long as it looks good in the end. 70. I'm just kind of using the numbers I already picked as a starting point. We have 100, 70, and 120. So we have 100. $70. And 120. Okay, and I don't feel like scrolling down, so this one will just be on its own. And it is 60. Okay. now I go down to the next group. That is just the feet. Alright, so we have a 60, a 40, and a 40. So we have a 60. Oops. Up here. There we go. 60. And a 40. And a 40. And that should, in theory, be all the physics nodes. That was a lot! Let's see how she wiggles. Yeah, I think just... Does it need any Y? Let me see here. I think there's maybe a few places that could use a little bit of Y, mostly in the bottom of the coat here. So let's see how I want to do this. I have the coat, cape, swish. Let's... When she goes that way, so I think I could stand to go down a little bit here. We'll just do a little. Maybe like try 50. And up a little bit here, just to balance it all out. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. Does anything else really need it? Maybe the bottom of the sleeves too? So we'll do a little bit on the floppy, maybe just like 30. No, I want you to go down. I want up to be the other direction. Just give it a little bit more swish there. And I think her lapels need it too. So I will also... No, I think I want you to go down. So 30 and 30. 30's been working all right, so I'll go with 30. Just to make it slightly more bouncy. Oh my, why is that happening? That, I think, might be a rigging issue. So let me... Yes, I have this peeking on through in the back there. I should fix that. Where is coat back? Physics, making me notice my errors. It's okay, physics. I'm grateful for your assistance. Very helpful. Let's just tuck this nice and far back. It doesn't need to be sticking close to the edge at all. Arm really shouldn't be either. I'm not sure. I must have rigged it without actually looking at the coat. So let's fix that too. Either that or it just got... what's the word? When I mirrored it from the other side, it just got confused. Let me hide the sleeve for a moment just so I can actually see what I'm doing. Make sure I am getting the whole thing here. There should be absolutely no sleeve peeking through here. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Alright, let's try that again. Alright, that looks a little bit better now. Yeah, I'd say that looks pretty good. Just enough wiggle in everything to be fun and interesting. Look at her go. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, that's... I kind of want to check on the hair physics a little bit more and do a little bit more with them. Or, well, it's less that I want to do more with them and more that I just want to make sure that they're wiggling well. And then I still feel like her eyes are a little bit crazy in some of the physics here. Oh man. Definitely more than a little bit crazy. So I do want to adjust those a little bit. Let's see, do I want to do that now? I think I'll check on the eyes, but I think I'm gonna save the hair for next stream. Those eyes are something special, man. Okay. I want to check everywhere I move the eyes at all, because there should not be any physics on the eyes themselves. As I go left and right here, how did I handle eye physics anyway? Where did I put them? So anywhere that this moves, my eye physics should do the exact opposite. Okay, so I probably need to do it on Blink too. Although, does Blink move the eyeballs? Let me remember how I did all my head physics here. This is fine. Eye white, eyelid, eyeball. So I do scale it. Okay, so yes, I do need to make sure that anytime the values here change, that the values here match, or do the exact opposite. That's probably the only issue. Just need to copy these on over. And then I'll do that for the head rotating as well, the head Z. Just so this way her eyes do not look quite so crazy. While it is funny, it is not quite what I'm going for. Oops, no, not here. There. So I'm just gonna make all these values the same. And I hope that fixes all of my eye-related problems. Yeah, nothing else. Nothing else. Okay. Alright. So now I will just check to make sure that they all match here. Okay, it looks good. Ah, no, these are different. It's okay, this is why I am checking. Because apparently they were slightly different in some of the corners. Okay. Okay, here's another one that's different. Okay, the rest is fine. We have 40 and 18. Oh. And indeed, a little different. Rest is fine. Okay, numbers are the same. Numbers are not the same. You need to be 18. There we go. Okay, and another spot where they are a little different. It's okay, this is exactly why I am checking all of the numbers. They need to be identical. I already got it right, so no need to reinvent the wheel here. Okay. Do you look a little bit less crazy now when I swing your head around? Yep. Okay, now I just need to do that for here, so this way her eyes do not do this crazy thing. Okay. So let's see, did I do any adjustments? No, I have not done any adjustments yet. Okay, how much am I rotating her head? I am rotating it 10. Yep, 10. And then I just move, there's a slight translation where it moves in the opposite sign. So I want to move you 10, -6. 10, -6. And you will be... Oh, let me do all 4 here. 10, -6. 10, -6. Okay, so that should cancel out all of the eye movement there by just moving it in the exact opposite way that I move the head. And so by moving it the exact opposite amount, it should move absolutely none. That is the theory here. Alright, let's see if that made her eyes less crazy. No. Man, if anything, it made it worse. What the heck? Did I get my numbers backwards? You were... -10. So I rotated these pendulums. Yep. Huh, I would have thought that would have worked. And then over here, I assume it was just the opposite. But no, that did not fix the crazy eyes. Oh. Let me actually collapse the body for now so I don't get them confused. There we go. Oh, I wonder what's making them freak then. Let me take a look at the pendulums here. Yeah, they still move. They still move. Do I move something else? I don't think so. Maybe instead of putting it on the physics. No, I can't put it on the inode. What am I talking about? I was like, oh yeah, maybe I should just put it here, but no, that would not do it. Yeah, normally just doing the opposite is how I fix these things. But that did not help me this time. Then what do I do? Do I just change where I put the physics? I guess I could. I guess there's no reason it has to sit on the eye. Okay, sure. Let's give it a try. That does mean it's gonna break everything else I did. I'm not sure if I want to redo all that. Let me go into the other eye here. I at least fixed the crazy eyes here, so you can see it's not moving. Oh yeah, and if you were wondering, when I said that when the physics start exceeding the bounds of everything, it starts panicking. This is basically what it looks like when I was shaking her head back and forth there a lot. It kind of exceeded what it could handle, and it starts, yeah, just looking really bizarre. That's the best way I can describe it. But yeah, you can see here that the pendulum don't really move, and that's why it's working. But here there is a rotation, and that's why it's making the eyes panic. Does rotating it really not do it? Let me... Wait, no, this side is just 10. Does that really not do it? Do I need to reset everything there? I wouldn't think so. A little bit of X movement. That's actually kind of expected. Did I just move it the wrong way? What direction are you moving here? Yeah, -10 and 6. I would expect this to be -6 then, but if 6 works, then... Let me try a few numbers and see if I can find a way to cancel it out. Okay, well, I guess the only thing left to do is just move it out of the node. I don't really want to, though. Because that would mean redoing pretty much everything eye-related that I have already done. Let me try this again and see if it looks bad. I haven't done it on the other side yet, that's okay. No, that's still really bouncy. I don't want it to be that bouncy. Okay. I think moving it out of the node is all I can do. That means I'm gonna have to change a lot of stuff. Which is deeply unfortunate, but you gotta do what you gotta do. We'll just take you out of the head node. So you will no longer be... Yep. Crazy eye is gone. Is my blink still working, though? Yes, blink is working. What about you? Okay, I actually have everything correct here. Nice. So I guess that means all I gotta do is go into head XY, find all my eyes. So right and left. Okay, that's not gonna be so bad then. I don't need to worry about it that much. Right eyeball, simple physics. We remove. Right. Blink, simple physics, we remove. And now I find left. Left eyeball, simple physics, remove. Left eye, blink physics, remove. Okay, and there should be no crazy eyes. Yep. And my blinks still work. Yep. Okay, well, all is well then. That should remove all the crazy eyes. And everything should be fine then. And I think next time we revisit hair. Try to get that exactly as I wanted. I think it's just... How do I describe it? I don't know. It still looks a little unnatural to me. I mean, it's kind of got a weird bounce to it. But I think I have it all rigged fine. I just need to fix my numbers. And hopefully it'll be fine. And I might even export in the middle just to make sure that everything is moving okay. And I'll probably do some testing. And then we rig this guy. We rig Shorel, finally. Because he's not going to do much. He's basically just going to be out there on his own doing a little bit of floating and a little bit of spinning. Oh, alright. I think that is where I will stop for today, though. So let me export all this. Make it all nice. All right. So that'll be all ready for tomorrow, and that's very exciting to me. Oh man, let me stretch here. Well, after what is it? It's been like 2/3 of a year. It's looking like I'm finally gonna finish this, and then I can draw something else. I'm getting there. Heck yeah. Well, thank you for sticking with me. I hope you've been enjoying the process. But this is where I will stop for today. So thank you all for coming, and I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow.